Good evening. Let me call to order this meeting of the City Commission of West Palm Beach. Today is June 23rd, 2025, and the time is 5 p.m. We will start this meeting off as we do all of our meetings with a moment of silence, please. Madam President, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let me go over the rules of civility and decorum which govern this meeting. Officials shall be recognized by the chair and shall not interrupt the speaker. Public comment shall be addressed to the City Commission as a whole and not to any individual on the dais or in the audience. Displays of anger, rudeness, ridicule, impatience, lack of respect, and personal attacks are strictly prohibited. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stamping of feet, whistles, yells, and similar demonstrations should not be permitted. Please govern yourselves accordingly, as offenders may be removed from the meeting. Also, any person desiring to address the Commission shall file a comment card, which shall contain the person's address, full name, and the numbered agenda item. And the card should be turned in before that agenda item is reached. If those are not complied with, then the comment card will not be entered into the record. All right, Madam City Administrator, are there any additions, deletions, reorganization of the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. We will now turn to the consent calendar, items 6.1 through 6.12. First of all, are there any cards on consent? Commissioners, are there any comments, questions on the consent calendar? Hearing none. Any of those cards deal with consent?
No, Mr. Mayor, they're general comment cards.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, then there are no comments, questions. I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, move for approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Now turn to item 7.1. Public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 5135-25, amending the Code of Ordinances at Chapter 86, Traffic and Parking, Sections 86-245 and 86-246, to revise the permit requirements and approval process for construction traffic management and construction parking plans, and Resolution number 158-25, amending the comprehensive fee schedule to provide a fee for review and administration of the construction traffic management and parking permit program.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Veronica Altuve, City Traffic Engineer. There has been no changes from the first reading.
Very good, thank you. Any cards on this one? All right, any questions, comments on item 7.1? If not, I will, was that your hand raised? Oh, you're adjusting your glasses, okay. You're confusing me. I will entertain a motion if there are no comments or questions.
Mayor, move approval of ordinance number 5135-25 and resolution number 158-25.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. Madam Clerk, can you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 5135-25, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida, at Chapter 86, Traffic and Parking, Article 4, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Division 1, generally to delete Section 86-245, Construction Project Parking, and amend Section 86-246, Construction Traffic Management Plan, to revise plan requirements and approval, providing a conflicts clause, a codification clause, and a severability clause, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you very much. And all those in favor of the motion, and keep in mind the motion will include the passage of consideration of the resolution as well. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, the motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now turn to item 8.1, appeal of the Historic Preservation Board's decision in case number 2502, a request by Jack Rice of Gunster Law on behalf of 418 36th Street Realty LLC, Emily Gutierrez, for the relocation of an existing contributing structure within the lot. Who will, since it's your appeal, Mr. Rice, we'll hear from you first.
Yes, sir. It is a de novo appeal.
Could you just state your name for the record, sir, please?
Jack Rice, and I, to be honest, do not remember if I was previously sworn in.
You know what? You probably weren't, so, and I apologize for that. Madam Clerk, can you swear in all witnesses? Okay. Madam Clerk, can you swear in all witnesses, please? No, it's my fault. I didn't ask you to do that.
Would everyone wishing to speak on item
8.1.
8.1, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Rice.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Commission. My name is Jack Rice. I have been previously sworn. I'm here on behalf of Emily Gutierrez tonight, who owns 418 and 426 36th Street. Here with me tonight is Ms. Gutierrez, as well as my colleague, John Roach, a planner at Gunster, Russell with Versinski Hyde Architects, and George Janides with Biltmore Contracting, Ms. Gutierrez's builder. Long story short, Mrs. Gutierrez is proposing to move an existing home 30 feet to the west of its existing location in Northborough Park. We've got a picture of the home on the title slide. If anybody's, traveled through Northwood or what is technically Northborough recently, you probably recognize the structure. It's right off 36th Street, and it kind of stands out because it has that unique dome over the entryway. But it's been vacant for quite some time, and Ms. Gutierrez is proposing to move the property, or move the structure 30 feet to the west so that she can develop it. But the vacant portions of the property that are to its east, she has to kind of jostle the property line a little bit in order to allow for that vacant lot to be redeveloped. And I'll get into that for a little bit into my presentation. But again, to give context and location, this is the property right here. The existing home, as you can see, is currently centered on the lot, but it's surrounded by vacant property. And here is what's in the large red outline is Ms. Gutierrez's property, and within you can see a smaller red line where she's proposing to put the new property line. And the issue at present is essentially you have the city median right here that I'll talk about in greater detail, but any redevelopment of the new property in order to accommodate room for a driveway and access to that new lot, the property line will need to be shifted over into the west a little bit in order to allow really, a driveway, but also anybody to park in front of the property. And it's consistent with most of the other lots that are on this street. She is not proposing to demolish the existing home. We are seeking to keep it in its current state, well, except for moving it, and to keep it in the neighborhood. And like I said earlier, it's this crosswalk and median that's really driving our need for relief here. Really, I think what kind of tripped up HPB when they were considering the application was the city code is rather unique when it comes to relocating a home. It provides certain circumstances that essentially, unless these circumstances are present, you cannot say no to a request to relocate the home. So that's what's on the slides in front of you, and what I would assert that none of these situations are present with Ms. Gutierrez's application. So to give you a little bit of history, the home at the property is known as the Dr. Daniel and Elizabeth McIntosh home. It was developed in approximately 1923, and it was developed on the west half of Lot 8, and then Lots 9 through 11 by Dr. Gutierrez himself on the plat that is actually known as the plat of the Northwood addition to West Palm Beach. So here kind of we have an excerpt showing the location or the lots on the property on the original plat. Like I said, it was developed in 1923. The house is located on lot 10. And really nothing else existed on the property for about 25 years. Over to the right, you'll see an excerpt from a Sanborn map in 1952. In yellow, we see the house. And essentially what came in about the 1950s was a garage as well as a small office that was built to the rear of the house, and that crotched or spread across lots 10 and 11. During this time, the other lots continued to be vacant. That house and that office that garage and office have since been demolished, and the west of the lot, or that area, is now vacant. Down below, we see basically a 1960s aerial photograph that shows that the eastern portion of the property continued to be vacant. Like I said earlier, this house and garage, they have since been demolished. Somewhere in the 80s, a pool was constructed over here on lot 9. That has since been demolished. We know that pool was constructed in those dates because we were able to pull county property appraisers' records to see when the pool went in. So the current request, if you look up on the screen in front of you, you'll see we are simply taking the existing home, we are relocating it from its original location and just shifting it 30 feet west, and that will allow for the development of 2 new lots, essentially. The vacant lot will be 100 feet, and the lot with the new home will be 75 feet, or the relocated home will be 75 feet. Like I said earlier, we received a request from city engineering to provide 25 feet of clearance from the edge of the median of the existing crosswalk, and that's what's really driving the request here. As well as we want to be able to have a driveway to access the redeveloped home and provide a driveway to the new lot. We also have to shift the property line a little bit in order to accommodate driveway spacing requirements within the zoning district. Just to give you kind of a comparison of other lots within this zoning district, you'll see that there are other 100-foot lots. Those have been highlighted here in yellow. And there's also quite a few lots that are between 65 and 75 feet. Those are highlighted in purple here. One of the requirements is that we be able to prove or show that the property can be relocated, the home can be relocated safely. On the left-hand side is an excerpt of a letter that was included in our application from an engineering firm, stating that it was their professional recommendation that the structure could be relocated safely so long as the structural deficiencies were thoroughly corrected prior to any relocation. Ms. Gutierrez has agreed to any condition of approval requiring her to address those structural deficiencies. And then on the right-hand side is a declaration from Brownie Structural Movers. Mr. Brownie and his company are essentially the oldest home relocation company in the southeastern United States. They've relocated several historic homes in Palm Beach County, West Palm Beach, as well as the town of Palm Beach, and they've listed a few of the ones that they relocated successfully here in the city. He is of the opinion that he can move the structure without any significant damage to the structure's physical integrity. And then another requirement is that we have an idea of what we're going to do with the vacant lot. So the image in front of you shows that the new home at the vacant lot will be developed. Obviously, it needs to be developed consistent with the requirements of the zoning and land development regulations. HPB review will ensure that the home is consistent with other historic properties within the neighborhood. But we did want to show you all that we do have an idea of what we are going to build on the vacant space. And with that, these are the conditions that can be the basis for a denial, and we would assert that none of these are present here. The historic character and aesthetic interest of the home will continue to contribute to its present setting because it's only being located 30 feet to the west, and it will continue to add to Northborough Park. You've seen the definite plans for the area to be vacated. We do not believe those plans will adversely affect the character of Northborough, and further, HPB review will occur before any of those plans are approved to ensure the new home is consistent with the historic character of the neighborhood. You've heard an affidavit as well as from a mover and an engineer that the historic home can be moved without significant damage to its physical integrity. There are also some conditions of approval from staff that we've agreed to meet, ensuring that there will be no significant damage to the property. And we would assert that there's been a considerable amount of consideration made to ensure that the home stays within the same district and continues to add to the historic character of Northborough Park. So with that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Any questions for the appellant? Okay. Let's hear from staff on this question, matter.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Ana Maria Aponte, Assistant Development Services Director. This request, the applicant did a very good job explaining all the background for this. So I'm just gonna go over some of the details. The request for the relocation of the structure was presented in front of the Historic Preservation Board on March 25th to 2025. And the application was denied by the board on a vote of 7-1 based on the basis of that the request did not comply with standards 2, 3, and 6 of the Secretary of Interior standards. I listed the 3 standards. The board in general was concerned with the integrity of the structure with the move, and they felt like moving the structure will be detrimental and not be maintaining the integrity of the structure, basically. Mr. Rice of Gangster Law submitted an application for an appeal of the Historic Preservation Board decision in compliance with the code requirements. And the City Commission, as he mentioned, is a de novo review, and the decision shall be based on the testimony and evidence presented to the Commission at this hearing. He already went to all the details of the location of the structure and how it is proposed to be moved 30 feet, so I'm not gonna go over that, but the staff has reviewed all those the same information and concur with the applicant's determination. Staff recommends approval with conditions based on the finding that the request does not meet any of the conditions listed in section 9449C4C of the Zoning and Land Development Regulations. And this is a little bit what it was mentioned. These standards for the relocation are basically a denial. So they are, if you don't, it is recommending approval if you do not have any of these as a basis for the denial. That's, yeah. So we concur with the applicant that the relocation of the structure will not destroy the integrity of the building, that they have demonstrated that the structure can be moved by an experienced mover and can be protected. There are plans for the vacant site on the east that will have to meet the Secretary of Interior standards with the construction of a new structure that still have to go to the board and meet the requirements of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. And we believe actually the relocation of the structure, the move within the same site, is the best option to the preservation of this structure. The structure has been vacant for a long time. The relocation will allow the renovation of the structure and the construction of a new one, so it will be financially viable for the owner to do the renovation. Staff is recommending approval. We have some conditions that the applicant has agreed with it. That concludes the staff presentation.
Thank you for that presentation. So help me to understand, and go back to the previous slide, please. Did the Historical Preservation Board just simply ignore staff's recommendation and make an independent determination that these standards were
I think it's not that they ignored the staff recommendations. They were concerned with the integrity of the historic resource. They felt that the applicant could still split the property and develop a new house on the eastern property without relocating the structure. So that was more like the way they were like presenting their argument. It was a 7-1 vote. One of the members did not agree with that and felt like there was no basis for denial.
And I assume the applicant had shown them the letter from the moving company, which has ample experience in moving homes, and
yes.
The moving company was aware of the requirements, and they seemed to think that they could do the job, and they ignored that as well. Wow. Okay, Commissioner Ward.
Thank you. So because obviously there's certain structural things that they have to fix prior to moving it. So how does that process work? Do they confirm, okay, we fixed these issues before they move it? Someone from the city I would assume an inspector comes out and looks at it, confirms, yes, has it been fixed before they move?
Yeah, they will have to ask for the demolition permit. As part of the demolition permit, when historic preservation staff review the application, will put the conditions in there, and also the approval of the move will have those conditions. They will have to comply with those and be sure that those elements are repaired before they move it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other, President Lambert, then Commissioner Fox.
Thank you. Do you mind putting back up the slides where it talked about the 3 items that the Historic Preservation Board referenced in their denial? Okay, and you mentioned integrity, but when you were talking about integrity, you didn't mean the integrity of the structure? Were they referencing the integrity of the historic nature?
Yeah, they were concerned what during the move the structure will fall and basically get destroyed.
Oh, so the actual structure?
Yes.
Okay.
That is always a risk for the relocation and the move of any historic structure. Staff believes like they have, the applicant has hired one of the most experienced movers in the entire state. They have a lot of experience with the relocation. They basically presented evidence that says that they don't have any concern about relocating this structure, the 30 feet that the applicant is requesting.
And we've moved many historic homes in the city of West Palm that were built around the same time, and they've maintained their integrity.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Fox.
Thank you. Can you go back to that slide? I had similar questions. I'm just reading these standards, and I just want to make sure I'm understanding, because it doesn't sound like you're talking about removing historical materials or
No.
changing anything, or where repairing versus replacing. You're not doing any of those things. I wanted to be clear. It doesn't seem like any of these are apply to the
Well,
questions
there
were at hand.
Two different standards, Commissioner. These ones are the standards specifically for the relocation, and these are the ones that the existence of one or more of the following conditions may be the basis for denial of the relocation application. So staff evaluated the application based on these standards. The board, when they recommended denial, they were concerned that the relocation did not meet the Secretary of Interior standards that are the standards applied to the historic preservation in general.
Right, but you gave us 3 that specifically they felt like
Yes.
did not comply, and it doesn't seem like any of those are really applicable at all to the question at hand about moving it 30 feet over. So I just want to be clear. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to go back to those same 2 slides. The other one first. So where it says that the structure cannot be moved without significant damage to its physical integrity. Was there an inspection done? Is there basis for this determination?
The applicant, the mover, goes to the site, and maybe they can speak more about that, but the mover goes and inspects the site and determine what is the strategy that they will implement for the relocation of the structure.
Okay. And if I can see the picture that shows where they'd like to, where it is currently and where they'd like to move it to, that showed the 100 feet and the 75 foot.
So this is the
Not
outline
this one,
of
the one with the pictures.
The one-
The historic picture, and then it was like a dotted line.
This one or this one?
The other, so
This
we can, yeah, this one. So they would like to move the property over 30 feet so that they can add an additional structure.
Yes, they split the property in 2 and add a new structure on the east side.
And there are lots that are comparable to what it is that they're intending to do.
Yes.
Yes, so there are lots of these size in the rest of the neighborhood. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff or the appellant? Yeah, President Lambert.
Thank you. I just didn't get to read the second condition of approval that you had up there, if you don't mind putting it back up.
This second condition is related to a material that is on the porch entrance, so we need to inspect that and determine if it is part of the original structure, so to ensure that they preserve it.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes,
I just
absolutely.
would like to remind the board, this is a de novo review, so you're listening to the testimony and the evidence presented today. You do not give deference to the Historic Preservation Board's decision. You've heard about it, but you're to make your decision on what's presented to you.
Thank you very much for that clarification. All right, any more questions or comments? If not, I will consider a motion.
I move approval of a certificate of appropriateness to allow the relocation of existing contributing structure approximately 30 feet west of its existing location at 426 36th Street. This motion is based on the factual testimony presented in the staff report, which constitute competent, substantial evidence, along with the finding that the relocation meets the criteria set forth in the Secretary of Interior Standards for Rehabilitation found in Section 94-49C3 and complies with the relocation standards in Section 94-49C4C of the Zoning and Land Development Regulations.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, now it's time for comments from the public. We have two cards. Danielle Underwood and Kathy Gardner. So if you start making your way toward the podium, please. You can go to the separate podiums if you want. Miss Underwood. Excuse me? We're good? Okay. Miss Underwood?
Is there a timer going?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, good. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Thank you for the two commissioners who responded to my email. Well, I'm here yet again tonight. The Palm Beach Post reported on June 2nd that the turmoil in the Code Enforcement Department. One code officer resigned due to being in trouble for filing false discriminatory complaints, essentially meaning perjury. One fired for spending expended time parked at her house during her shift times, essentially meaning stealing time. One fired for unprofessional behavior toward a supervisor. One suspended for extended lunch breaks. Let me ask you this. Prior to the development and community housing taking over, were they aware of the officers' jobs, practices, and what supervisors approved? Mark Joyce, the manager at those times, still currently a supervisor, practiced the same policies of up to 1 hour for lunches. As a matter of fact, the new hires were trained that way, and even Mark had lunch with them. There are trip sheets to prove all of this. When the officers were investigated for extended lunches and 40-plus hours of pay taken away from them, Mark Joyce never spoke out about these past practices. The officers had no clue they were doing anything wrong. They should get their suspension reimbursed to them. Officers did what they were trained to do, and even with their own supervisors. Shouldn't the supervisors face suspension, or the whole department, in fact, or only those that are not liked? Yet one officer, Donald Williams, was suspected of stealing time, investigated, and found that the sustained violations of stealing 124.65 hours, which was 87.93% of the time from August to January, and is still currently employed, while other officers are fired and punished for lesser offenses. One officer was fired for unprofessional behavior of making a report to Mark Joyce about a harassing incident that took place in the department, but being emotional and upset leads to a firing. Apparently, stealing time would keep a job, but seeing something and saying something to your supervisor, you're fired. Let that sink in. Retaliation in the code department is real, folks. It's all in who you know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kathy Gardner.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor, everybody. There has been, my name is Kathy Gardner, and I'm from Coleman Park. I'm the president of Coleman Park Neighborhood Association. There has been concern, discussion, and attention made to the fact that we in Coleman Park need on-site daily security in our neighborhood. Drug activity and prostitution are on the rise again, and also more people are moving into the area, especially due to the new apartments being built. We want to introduce to you, in your hearing, the security company CJE Security, Inc., Criminal Justice Enforcement Security, Inc. CJE Security has been in operation for 10 years now, and they have been open to our security needs, making themselves available to the community center needs by way of volunteering their services on occasion when we have had special events. They have a thorough, excellent track record with hands-on experience working hard within the city parks, and keeping the peace there. They were awarded by Lisa Kemp at Vickers House for helping the homeless into shelters and working closely with the homeless to secure necessary needed resources. CJE Security is special to us, not only because the owner himself grew up in the community and is familiar with the neighborhood, but there is already mutual respect and understanding of the ins and outs of the neighborhood. Let me say one thing in particular that is good for me personally and as a whole, as well as the community as a whole. And that is that CJE Security operates clearly with a measure of faith. And I believe we can agree that this is an extra needed bonus for such times that we live in now. We highly recommend that CJE Security be appointed to work in our neighborhood. I pray you will consider it carefully to hire CJE Security. I'll say it again. We already have very positive experiences with them, and they with us. We have mutual respect and understanding, and they are already familiar with the neighborhood and the residents, making this a perfect fit. As a leader in the community, I can tell you firsthand and in truth, the best for us is CJE Security, as they are us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do have a number of cards that did not want to speak, but they wanted their comments read into the record. Melvin Hubbard, 1132 23rd Street, West Palm Beach. I wish to support the CJE Security in our neighborhood, the Coleman Park area. Mary A. Hubbard, same address, 1132 23rd Street, West Palm Beach. I support the CJE Security in the Coleman Park neighborhood. Nellie Mae Housel Cooper, 1106 17th Street. We need security in Coleman Park just like the other city park. We want someone in our area that has the community's best interests. The company that Ms. Gardner recommended is who we want in our neighborhood. Burnell Burnell P. Wilkins, 1024 Adams Street, Apartment 3, West Palm Beach, Florida. I am in total support of CJE Security being our security service here in Coleman Park area. Patricia Dixon, 1109 Adams Street, West Palm Beach. I support CJE for Coleman Park community. And Robert Brown, 1109 Adams Street. I support CJE for Coleman Park. Okay, so anything come over the portal? Any cards, comments?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so that's all of the public comment. We will now turn to comment from the dais, and we will begin with President Lambert.
Thank you so much. Ms. Gardner, thank you for coming to speak, and we take public safety very seriously. I hope that city administration will give us an update on what's happening there, and happy to speak with you further too if there's more information you can provide. Thank you for speaking up. Another item that I think we've all probably been hearing about that I'm just hoping we can continue to give updates to the residents is on the North Lake and Beeline Highway closure. I know that this is, related to the county and FDOT and railroad crossing closure, but it affects many of our West Palm Beach city residents who have been very upset with the very short notice that's been given. And I know, and I'm grateful to city staff for working very hard with Palm Beach Gardens and the county to ensure that emergency services will be able to get across 24/7. However, in some instances, the rerouting will take residents, 30 minutes plus to get from their homes to work or wherever they need to go. Also, for deliveries to, local businesses that are in the area. So just first of all, saying thank you to staff for doing what you're doing, and if there's anything else that we can do to help get this information to our residents, that we continue to do that. Thank you, Commissioner Fox. CRA comments mentioning the Best Barbecue grand opening last Friday. I would encourage anybody who is looking for some excellent, actually the best barbecue, to go check it out. It was delicious. They have great ribs, and this is their first brick and mortar location. They've been serving West Palm Beach for many years. We've seen them at a lot of community events, and it was exciting to see them open their physical doors last Friday. And then also, I know that there were many Juneteenth events happening throughout the city last week. It was an honor to attend some of those. Just want to thank our community members who were available to highlight and attend those. And looking forward to our 10th annual Barbecue Blues and Brews contest this Saturday at 5 p.m. Hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Ward.
Thank you. First, just because I was trying to catch up on my emails, congratulations to Ana Maria Aponte. I don't know if that was in your comments or not, but on your new appointment as Director of Development Services, I know you'll be great. I worked so hands-on with you on CRA and was devastated when you were leaving, but you're doing a fantastic job in your position, and I have the utmost faith and confidence in you. So thank you, Mayor, for that appointment. Also, I wanted to mention that as a reminder, please join the city for the 3rd annual Grill in the Garden, a joyful celebration of community growth and garden goodness at the Pleasant City Community Center Garden at 2147 Spruce Avenue on tomorrow, June 24th from 2 to 5. To connect with neighbors, tour the garden, and celebrate the impact the community has made together. Both of the gardens are a place for people to go and commune and bring kids and learn about all the fresh produce that can be grown right in our backyard. And so if you can make it, it's during work hours, but please do. And just to piggyback on Ms. Gardner's commentary, we've, and I've discussed this with Administrator Johnson, that we've had some issues involving the community center and small minor things that kind of align with what's happening or what used to happen in Northwood Village and what was happening on Broadway. And given that our police, can only be so many places at one time, eyes and ears on the ground are super helpful to coordinate with the police. And so if there is a method to be able to bring that along the Terman corridor, we're commercializing in the historic Northwest, and I hope that commercialization continues over Palm Beach Lakes and through within Coleman Park, so that residents can go and patron businesses within their community instead of having to leave that. But a big issue is security and safety. For a mom to want to go to the community garden, which is behind the community center, they want to make sure that that's safe. They want to make sure that that park, that beautiful park and the beautiful community center that we created is safe. And if they want to patron along Tamarin, they want to be safe while they do that as well. And so I understand, and I know we've been working to try to figure out how we can continuously make the area safer with the bike patrols and communication. So thank you very much for showing up, and I appreciate it.
Okay, Commissioner Fox.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to say thank you to Ms. Gardner for coming. My understanding is that we have a new security team on board as of the last few months. I haven't heard a ton about it, except I know that there's been mention of it at some of the CRA community meetings, but I would love to understand better as well where they're being placed and if there's any opportunities for us to look into the coming budget season and talk about additional security locations. I know that it's something that the residents and businesses in the historic Northwest would love to also have consideration for. It's so important that we have safety throughout the city, and especially if we have a team that we have brought on board. And, I would just love to be able to be a part of understanding where the locations are that they're servicing. And, I think there's always opportunities to expand that, and I would love to just put that on our, either an agenda to talk about at a workshop or maybe at the upcoming budget discussions. I completely agree with you, Ms. Gardner, and I appreciate you coming to mention it. I don't know your area as well as I know the Northwest, but it is something that, we obviously struggle throughout the city. We want every neighborhood to be safe and to feel safe, so thank you for coming. I also just look forward to seeing everyone at Barbecue Blues and Brews. As Commissioner Lambert mentioned, it will be this Saturday, beginning at 5 to 9 p.m. There's amazing bands, the delicious barbecue, and skating, a lot of other fun activities for kids. So I hope to see you all there, and that's all I have. Thanks.
Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to say that I think that you've done a great job of putting together an amazing administration of people. There's some really talented people that I believe have been working with you, and you've been able to identify them and utilize them and their strengths, starting with our Madam Administrator. But congratulations, Anna, on your appointment. Your experience and how well-rounded you are is truly a benefit to the entire city. So I'm very happy to congratulate you. Thank you to Ms. Gardner for all of your service, for being around for many years and not giving up on Coleman Park and being a part of the progress and the transitions and the things that we see. And safety is a fundamental right to any neighborhood and any person. So thank you for taking the time to come and express how important it is to you and the community, and to make recommendations and not sit back and watch things happen, but to participate. I'm also taking stock in all of the businesses that we've seen opening, particularly in the Northwest neighborhood. Looking back over the last several months and seeing just the emergence of Hamburger Haven and their ability to provide a space for the Best Ribs and Fantasy Island and Tawana Teal and the new locations that are coming into the Northwest neighborhood. It has been a very long time since we've seen this type of stimulation and growth, and it is incredible to be a part of and witness, and I hope that everyone really pays attention and looks at spaces that may be available, and continue to work with our CRA and recognize that there are properties and opportunities that exist that that small businesses can benefit from, where you may not be able to have a location near in the heart of downtown, but recognizing that the Northwest neighborhood is downtown adjacent. It is a part of the downtown master plan. So I'm just very happy to see so many things happening, and I hope that people are noticing that good things are going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Ms. Johnson, can you brief me and the commissioners on the selection process for the security company in Coleman Park? I can't recall if we did an RFP or what. Can you refresh our memories, please, on how we came to this situation?
Now, I'm drawing a blank as to an RFP process that we went out for security in Coleman Park per se. You know, when we went out for the security firm, when we were looking at options on whether to change security companies, we went through the procurement process,
right.
You know, the request for a proposal, but I'm not aware that we have done an RFP specifically for Coleman Park. So based on the selection of this new firm, you know, I think the question would be under the contract, you know, whether that their services can be expanded to include Coleman Park. And if the board desires to have just a firm specifically for Coleman Park, could happen in one or two ways. Well, no, one or three ways. First and foremost, money will have to be identified. And then if it's a contract that's going to be one time that is under 50,000, that could be done under your discretion, Mayor. But if it's an ongoing contract that exceeds that $50,000 threshold, then it's a competitive process. So we can't pre-select, a company if it's going to be ongoing and exceeds the 50,000. And Deputy City Attorney, please correct my understanding if it's inaccurate.
Your understanding is absolutely correct.
So do we have a security company in Coleman Park now?
Not that I am aware of.
Okay. So we don't have one there. So the question is, A, should we get one? And B, what is the process for selecting one? So we'll have that conversation internally, and then I'll let you speak, advise the commissioners. Okay. So the RFP for the security company that was selected did not include Coleman Park. That is the issue?
That is correct, Mayor.
All right.
Mayor, the security company contract included city properties and city areas, so it didn't include like neighborhoods. It was for protection of city properties.
Okay, all right. So we will give that further discussion and consideration. All right, thank you for that update. A couple of announcements. Proud to announce that the U.S. Department of Energy has recognized the city of West Palm Beach for achieving its second energy savings milestone as part of the Better Buildings Challenge. The city reduced its energy usage by 16% across our municipal buildings and facilities, and this is consistent with our goal for sustainability. The accomplishment builds on our earlier success in 2014, when we became the first city in Florida to join the challenge and reached our original goal of a 20% reduction in energy intensity. So through smart investments like LED streetlight retrofits and energy efficient upgrades to our wastewater treatment facility, we've not only lowered our environmental impact, but also improved operations and generated meaningful cost savings. So I want to commend our Office of Sustainability for leading this effort and helping make West Palm Beach a statewide leader in municipal energy efficiency. We're proud to continue our longstanding partnership with the U.S. Department of Energy since 2012, and we're now setting our sights on an even more ambitious target, a 25% energy reduction by 2030. So kudos, Office of Sustainability. At the end of the day, it's about more than numbers. It's about building a more sustainable, resilient, and cost-effective future for everyone in West Palm Beach. This June, we've been celebrating 30 years of Clematis by Night with the CBN Big 3-0, a month-long party on the West Palm Beach waterfront every Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. Now it's time for the grand finale. Join us this Thursday, June 26th, for an unforgettable performance by Matt Stone as Elvis. You all know who Elvis is, right? Yeah. Elvis, you see, okay. They're too young to know Elvis. Google him. One of Graceland's top Elvis tribute artists in the world. Enjoy live music, food trucks, games, and more as we wrap up a month of memories. So don't miss your chance to be part of the final night of our 30th anniversary celebration, Clematis by Night, CBN, the Big 3-0. The city of West Palm Beach will host its 37th annual 4th on Flagler celebration on, appropriately, Friday, July 4th, 2025, from 5 to 10 p.m. along Flagler Drive. Theme, One Nation Under a One Nation, Our Celebration. Y'all didn't even understand that. Any Parliament Funkadelic? Never mind. Again, the theme is One Nation, Our Celebration. As South Florida's largest waterfront Independence Day event, it will feature live music on 3 themed stages, family-friendly activities, food vendors, and a spectacular 18-minute FPL fireworks display over the Intracoastal Waterway at 9 p.m. 4th on Flagler is a cherished tradition that unites our community and welcomes many visitors for a patriotic celebration. For nearly 4 decades, this iconic event has lit up our beautiful waterfront with joy and meaning. I invite everyone to join us in creating Unforgettable memories that reflect the spirit of togetherness and the vibrant energy of our great city as we proudly celebrate One Nation, our celebration. I just returned from the 93rd annual summer convening of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and I wanted to share with you, mayors, a significant takeaway of which you should be proud. Close to 200 mayors were in attendance, several breakout sessions, plenary sessions, etc. But a significant takeaway is a couple of things. One is some of our challenges that we are experiencing, whether it's the affordability of housing, homelessness, our continued battle to maintain public safety, are challenges that are that nearly every city in the country is experiencing. And more importantly, or equally important, is there's no magic bullet. There's no magic solution to automatically making homes more affordable, putting roofs over the heads of all the homeless, et cetera. But many of the best practices that were discussed, I'm happy to say that many of the best practices that were discussed, the proposed solutions to address our city, West Palm Beach, is already addressing those according to best practices that I heard, which says a lot about the work that we are doing as a city. And I say, and commissioners, you are part of this, that West Palm Beach is boxing above its weight class. And you all should be proud of the work that we are doing. Is there more work to be done? Absolutely. But with your assistance, with your attention to the legislative priorities, we're doing all right. So thank you, commissioners, for being the tremendous partners in making the city the great city that it is. And that concludes my remarks for tonight. Good night. God bless you, and God bless the great city of West Palm Beach. Have a good evening. This meeting's adjourned.